ISUPK.
We want no cowards in our camp, in our camp. Only men prepare to die. We want no cowards in our camp, in our camp. Never let their colors fly. We want no cowards in our camp, in our camp. Only men prepare to die.
Shalom. You tuned in live to another episode of The Bible is Black. Y'all by Shemel Shabrak-a-thumb. To the brothers, y'all Shemal Athar Shimi Abashah, to the sisters, and you are here with Priest and Captain Nadazak Shah. Tune into another episode of The Bible is Black. We highlight vividly describing who is in the Bible, who the scriptures are talking about. So-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are God's chosen people. We're going to teach you today. The Bible is Black. Today's episode, in the big episode here, 27, is integration. You understand? The integration highlights some things there. It gives you a little bit more in depth. I know we've talked about a number of things there, but we're going to talk about the effects that integration has had leading up to the next video after that, which is going to be talking about gentrification. You understand? Integration has absolutely destroyed and ruined the Black, Hispanic, Native American communities and families. It has destroyed the Black community, you understand, because that's what we're talking about. Here, when we say Black people, of course, you know, according to the scriptures by now, we're in episode 27, you know by now that when we say Black, of course, we are talking about all of our 12 tribes. So according to the Bible, the Jews are Black, God's chosen people are so-called Black people. Not Africans, not Arabs, not dictated by how light or dark your skin is. The descendants of these 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, you understand, so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, so-called Latinos, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel. These people are Black people, according to God. You understand? As we get that clear, you take a second to look at it. We're going to jump straight into it. Integration. It have seemed like integration was so great and so wonderful, following, believing in Martin Luther King. I know you've already seen the videos on Martin Luther King, but integration was much bigger than just Martin Luther King and his I Have a Dream speech. A lot of damage and things, a lot of things started that most of our people are unaware of, that these things came from integration. The Lord told us this here, we're going to start in 1 Ezra 8 and 84. All right. As a matter of fact, we're not going to start there. We're going to start in Isaiah 5 and 20. It says, woe. When the Lord says woe, it means destruction, death, something bad, some evil is coming as a response to what is getting ready to be said. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. Integration was an evil thing that was called good, because we followed Christian preachers like Martin Luther King. And Martin Luther King and that civil rights movement and all those songs and We Shall Overcome and all of those things that you saw, those images led you to believe that this was something that was good, that this was something that God wanted. Here you have a church, you holding hands and praying with your oppressor, you and your slave master getting together, holding hands, all worshiping his God. Not the God of your forefathers, not the God of getting you free from slavery, the God that let his forefathers know that it was acceptable to him to put us in slavery until they got good and filthy rich. And a few generations later, some of them started to pretend to grow a conscience, as it would seem, really just so that they can spread the wealth from the South all throughout North and the rest of the country, so that they can wipe out our businesses, families, and communities and neighborhoods to just make it the hood, which is what is known as today. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light. Integration seemed like it was a light thing, but it was a very dark thing. It had a lot of psychological, physical, emotional, traumatic damages that have been done to our people that have never been fixed or even addressed to this very day, for the magnitude of the problem that it is and what it has done to our people. It says that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet. It was a bitter thing for us to sit and beg our oppressors to allow us to sit in their businesses, in their restaurants, to go to school with their children. This was a bitter thing. You, these black kids sitting in this room with the oppressors, the people that have been beating you and calling you the N-word, saying that your skin is dirty and you don't have a soul. All of these horrible things that were done and said to our people, they did not forget hundreds of years that your people were in captivity and slavery to them. Now, your Black and Hispanic children don't know anything about it. That's why when racism happens to them in their face, they're so shocked. Why are you doing this, bro? We're all the same, bro. Why are you doing this to me? I don't understand. What have I done? They've not understood, because integration, when you join your oppressor, you stop teaching the many years and generations about who these people, who our oppressors actually are, about how you came to be in America and your actual position in your oppressor's kingdom. That this is not your kingdom. You are not a part of their empire. You are the entertainers and the slaves of the empire. But you have not taught your Black and brown children this, because you have been trying to get them to ignore the hundreds of years of the actual facts and evidence that God said in the Bible, and that the prophets in the I.S.U.P.K have been teaching our people since the 60s, that we should have never joined our oppressor. So let's get some more. And put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. It was a sweet thing for us to have our own communities, our own jobs, our own businesses. We had our own bus companies while Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks were telling Black people to do those Black bus boycotts. We had our own Black cab companies. Were they as big as the white companies? No, but we had our own companies, our own fleets in many cities, in many places. We were not just sitting in dirt roads, looking around up at the stars, doing nothing. That's a lie. It was a sweet thing that when we came out of slavery, we started to gather knowledge and grow, so much so that we founded these historically Black colleges. That was a sweet thing where you can go and get in higher learning and in higher education without having to be underneath of the foot of your oppressor, without having your little Black kids be taught the philosophies of the people who comfortably enslaved and murdered and sold and traded and raped and robbed our people for centuries. Look at this brother. Imagine the psychological damage and effects of this little girl and this brother right here, sitting in a classroom with people throwing things at them, calling them the N-word. You do not belong around your oppressor. And we're going to get forward and show you more of the damage, deep in depth, that the damage that integration has done to our people. It's way bigger than this. You understand? Nobody thought. You know what happened to all of those Black schools when Brown versus Board of Education, and then they started to desegregate the schools. Now your Black students will go to a school. Did the school, no, let me correct that. Your Black children already had a Black school. It didn't have the volleyball courts and tennis courts that the white schools had. You understand? It didn't have the best of equipment that the white schools had. It didn't have the best funding that the white schools had, because for centuries, your people had been on the bottom. Your people had been getting sold, and every ounce of wealth that was distributed into America, that wealth was going to our oppressors. None of it went to us for centuries. So your school did not look like their school. It wasn't filled with beautiful paint and nice non-leaking floors and windows and things, but you learned valuable lessons. We learned valuable lessons in these schools that our children are not being taught today. We learned that we were important to each other, that we needed each other, that we were on a team. You had Black teachers teaching Black children a Black way of life. You understand? that we needed to make sure that no matter what happened, we stuck together, that we did not turn to our oppressor, that we did not treat each other the way that they treated us, that we did not kill and murder each other the way that they killed and murdered us, that we didn't allow the way that they treated us for us to do to each other. All of the rapes and murders and violence and things. Yes, we had our share of problems amongst our communities, but we did not have anywhere near the cities filled with hundreds and hundreds of murders the way that we have now since we have integrated. You understand? We're going to get some more. Let's go to First Ezra's in the Apocrypha. For those of you that don't know, the Apocrypha are about the 14 or so books that the Roman Catholic Church removed out of the Bible after 1611, after the death of King James, who did not write the Bible. He authorized teams of scholars to translate the Bible from the original Hebrew text where it was written and the original Greek text that the New Testament was written in. Because we were conquered by the Greeks, that's what the Wars of the Maccabees, and that's what Hanukkah is all about, that we celebrate every year, remembering Judas Maccabees, Mattathias or Matthiah and his son Hamakabah or Yehoiada Hamakabah or Judas Maccabees, the Wars of the Maccabees. These were Black men, you understand, brothers fighting against our oppressors, the Greeks, the so-called white man, that today we are still having the same battle that you trying to pretend is over until George Floyd gets a knee on his neck for 8 minutes, until Freddie Gray gets his back broken and his spine severed from his damn spinal column and his leg bent backwards the other way, until Tatiana Jefferson gets shot through her house. Botham Jean gets killed in his drawers. Walter Scott gets shot in the back and have a taser thrown on him. Tamir Rice gets gunned down at the playground. Trayvon Martin gets stalked and hunted in the white gated community. You understand? Your community, like, these things have never gone away. Our leaders that we followed that told us to integrate and integrate schools and integrate our lives and our way of thinking to become American, which is to be like our oppressors, they taught us to join and think like them and operate like them. And we have suffered greatly since we have done so. We're going to get some more. The Lord said, First Ezra chapter 8 and verse 84, therefore now shall ye not join your daughters unto their sons, neither shall ye take their daughters unto your sons. You should not have interracial marriages. You should not do that. The Lord said don't do it. And he said it for a good reason. What you do not understand is why you in your Martin Luther King mode and way of thinking, and the failure that the Christian church is that have failed to teach our people what God actually said to do in the Bible. You understand? We have not been taught what God actually says. He said, moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. Why does the Lord say that? Because you seeking to have peace with them is going to force you to compromise your morals, your beliefs, your standards. You understand? We're going to show you exactly what that got us according to the scriptures. We're going to read some more. The Lord said, moreover, ye shall never, never is absolute. Not later on down the line. The Lord said, ye shall never. You understand? Never. Why is the Lord saying this? Right. That's what the Lord was saying. Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. You have to compromise yourself to have peace with them, that ye may be strong. Meaning by you seeking to have peace with another nation of people, it weakens you. Us joining Islam weaken us. Us joining Christianity weaken us. Us joining the Democratic and Republican Party weaken us, because now you are dependent on your oppressors for education when you used to educate yourselves. Black teachers, Black men and women used to instill Black values in Black children. We used to teach ourselves. Then we integrated with our oppressors. And those integrated schools, of course, they made privatized schools and private school vouchers so that they can get all of their white children away from your Black and brown children. Then they came up with vouchers. Then they came up with the privatized schooling, the charter schooling. Then they made suburbs so that their white communities that you started to move in the city, they started to leave those cities so that they can create and live in suburbs. And then when you start to move into their suburbs, they go now and buy back your city, move someplace else, raise prices so you can't be afforded. We're going to get that in the second part of this, you understand? Or in the next video there. Like the Lord said, never seek to have peace with them that ye may be strong and eat the good things of the land. We had more land that we owned as a people coming out of slavery. And the years coming up leading, we created, of course, you know, our Black towns. We had a separate Black economy, you understand, where every bit of dollars, every money, every wealth, all of the things that we gathered and learned as a people, it stayed in our communities because we could not go to our oppressors' communities. You understand? We went to the military, which we were never supposed to do, fighting their wars. That knowledge and information came back so that we could spread that amongst ourselves. We went and learned various things and skills, all of the pipe work, all of the plumbing, all of the things that we learned as a people that stayed with us. And we became inventors and pioneers and creators, you understand? All of these things we had made us strong, except when we integrated the strength that we were building for ourselves, like Black universities. The NFL and NBA are filled with Black athletes. There is no NBA or NFL or college sports without Black athletes, running back, linebacker, quarterback, whatever back you want to do. Without Black people, there is no sports. Everyone's paying billions of dollars a year to go and see. We stayed separate. If you wanted to get a linebacker, defensive end, a tight end, if you wanted to get, you understand, a Shannon Sharp, a Tiki Barber, a Allen Iverson, a Michael Jordan, a Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, even though some of them did not go or come from colleges, if you wanted to get them to play in your basketball or football league, you had to now patronize the Black universities because you did not have access to them because you were from a white university. That made you strong. That gave you bargaining power. Or you could have kept your Negro leagues, football, baseball, and basketball, and never have to work for racist owners like the Dallas Cowboys own. You understand? Or any of the other racist owners, or Drew Brees. You don't have to be in the locker room with Drew Brees, or have Tom Brady trying to kiss you when you go to his damn house, and then you have a breakdown at the football game and take your jersey off. You wouldn't have to deal with Jerry Sandusky molesting everybody in the showers at Penn State University if you stayed in the Black university, in the Black community, and played professional Black sports. All of the wealth that we gained from being boxers and sports and everything else that we did, if they wanted anything we created, they would have to come and pay us for it. They wanted the knowledge that we had. The first supercomputers was Black women. Their brain was the supercomputer. You understand? All of the inventions that we created, we're not going to go over them again. We do them in every video. Laptops, telephones, heater, freezer, refrigerator, gas mask, icebox, elevator, fountain pen, blood storage equipment, you know, numerous things, blood banks, all of these things we created that came from our people. You understand? And the Lord said that you would be strong because in order for them to get it, they would have to give you what you wanted for it. They would have to give us. We are supposed to be treated like a separate nation of people because we are not the same as our oppressors. Integration taught your people, Black, Hispanic, Native Americans, integration taught our people that we were the same as our oppressors and we should not look to be treated the same. We should look to be treated the same, but we are not the same. They know it. And we've been trying to convince our people that we are the same as the people that is killing us and murdering us and enslaving us and selling us and stealing our land, putting us in reservations, putting our babies in dog cages, devising ways to tear our family apart. That's why the previous video was on integration, was on single parenthood. You understand? We're going to get all of that in just a minute. How all of this came about could not have been done without integration. It said that ye may be strong and eat the good things of the land, and that ye may leave the land ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore. The very same homes and houses that Black people came back from World War I and II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, all of that war money, what they didn't murder the soldiers and steal, which they did a lot of for Black soldiers coming back from the world wars. The rest of that wealth we took and bought houses and made neighborhoods and communities. And we made neighborhoods. And the fathers that were in charge of those Black houses ruled the neighborhoods and determined and dictate what was acceptable. You were able to inherit a standard of education, a standard of things that was supposed to continue to sweep throughout all of our communities to make us stronger, that ye may eat the good things of the land. Most of our previous generations grew up with farms in the front, in the backyard, even if they did not have literal acres of farmland. This whole yard with pretty flowers and tulips and stuff, that's how white people designed their farms, their land. We had gigantic families to feed with 6 and 7 kids per household. Brother, sister, daughter, brother, sister, baby. We had households. Our sons were more responsible. Our daughters were more responsible. Our children were more respectable and respectful. We got better education. You understand? Not have more tools available. Now you got the internet and 5G and iPhone and Twitter and Kindle and Nook and Siri, and you understand that technology has advanced, but it advanced because a Black man invented the goddamn laptop. You understand? The color swatches for color in your laptops. You understand? The cell phone, a Black woman invented the GPS and the call ID and the fiber optic cables. These inventions that we created, we were supposed to have the monopoly on all of them. And if you wanted the technology, you would have to deal with us right. But if you kept pulling us over on the side of the road and murdering us because we had brown skin, then you wouldn't get our technology. We would stay to ourselves in our own communities, and you would live in gruel and squalor, cleaning your own hotels, your own homes, cooking your own food without seasoning and unwashed meat. You understand? Eating your crunchy potato salad and your salads with blueberries and raspberries all in there. Like, you would not have the benefit of us entertaining you with our boxing and our boxing moves, our music, the dances and challenges that you seeing, that you get your flat behind white girl, she want to do the dances, try to dance like Megan Thee Stallion. You would have never got any of those. From the electric slide, the nay, you would have got nothing, because we would have been separate, and you would have not been welcomed in our community, just like we were not welcomed in your community. And that would have made us strong. That would have made us care about each other like we used to before we integrated. It would have made us love each other the way that we used to before integration. We're going to get some more. Let's let the scriptures talk, man. The Lord said the inheritance will be left to your children forevermore. Once we started integrating in the 80s, let's not even get to the 80s. Let's get some more. All right. Let's see what the Lord said. Now that we've integrated, the government came up with the Welfare and Housing Act, which is famous. Everybody knows that. That act now said that Black women and the children could get housing, TANF, needy families, temporary assistance for needy families, TANF, Section 8 vouchers. Now you can get government-sponsored housing and food and money and child care and medicine and Medicaid. You could get everything that we needed as a community that we did not have overall. And what was available to us was not the greatest, but we did have, and we made do, and our families and communities were much more united and safer, and we were working together. We had a neighborhood and not just a hood. We housed each other, we took care of each other. We had standards of living amongst ourselves. You understand? We had brotherhood and sisterhood, and it disintegrated with integration, which is why the Lord said, an inheritance for your sons and daughters is also that there are other Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans that will look out for them, that will correct them when they're wrong, that'll make sure that they aren't stolen or kidnapped or abused or murdered or pumped up on drugs or sex trafficked. Once we lost the neighbor part from integration, we began to think like our oppressors. And now we didn't have a neighborhood anymore. We just had a hood. Every man for himself. Get it how you can. Get it how you live. Use what you got to get what you want. You understand? If that means whoring yourself out, sister, OnlyFans, here we go. Walk the strip, prostitution. If that means selling dope to your own community, crack, cocaine, heroin, rock, powder, dust, weed, syrup, pills, push it to the limit. You understand? If it means everybody shooting up heroin needles, I mean, listen, we got to get high. It's a party going on inside your body, baby. Like, we learned that from integration, that hippie movement with us joining with our oppressors and the whole LSD, mind trip, kind of reefer madness, that whole nonsense that we joined with our oppressors. And now we were able to establish a degenerate culture that was their culture that we gravitated to because we started to get high. While Martin Luther King is also telling our people, we got to join with them. We got to end segregation. And what happened? What was going on? This is what was going on. You getting hit and beat with a nightstick. This is what was going on in our families, in our homes, in our communities, in our cities. You had to be on the watch for your brother. This is where we were. You understand? This is where we were. Our beautiful hair, our beautiful afros. We loved our skin, our nose, our children. Black men and women were together. We were united. You understand? We were together. You were brother, not that hole over there, not that. You were sister. You wasn't them niggas over there. I'll listen to you, nigga, man. Tell me what to do. You were brother. You understand? You weren't a number. You understand? You were a person. You were one of us. We were a people. But now that you can go and join your oppressor, everybody's the same. You forget about decades of getting beat with nightsticks and sold into slavery. You want to put that behind you. Well, the Bible says, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy fathers and they shall teach thee. Your fathers didn't want to teach you about the many generations because they wanted you to be an American. They didn't want you to know why they moved from Mississippi and South Carolina up to the Midwest, why they left the Carolinas and Georgia running from their lives, you understand, after the Klan lynched Uncle Jimmy or Uncle Kenny, and now everybody had to run up north, and that's where Granddaddy started the family, and that's how all of you became born and raised in New York and New Jersey and DC and Virginia. They want to tell you about those generations. They wanted you to believe that everything was equal and fair in Martin Luther King's dream, and that made us weak. Because you weren't fighting in competition to be strong, like the lions are breeding for competition to be strong, to compete for resources. The Koreans were, the Japanese and Chinese were, the East Indians and the Arabs were, the Polynesians and Filipinos were, the French, the Dutch, the Irish, the Portuguese, the Spanish, they were from Spain, you understand? Everybody was fighting for dominance and rulership and to hoard resources for the future generations of their people, except you. You stopped doing that. You stopped making Black universities and Black schools, because now you can go to the white schools. I'll leave it up to our oppressor or the government, whose government was established by selling, trading you and your people, murdering your people and putting them on reservations and stealing their land. All of this land from coast to coast either belongs to Mexicans, Native Americans, or Seminole Indians. Indians, you understand? Not East Indians, the tribe of Gad, the tribe of Reuben, the tribe of Issachar. From California to Florida, to Maine, to Texas, to the other side of California, all of that belongs to a Mexican or a Native American. The only way our oppressors got it and shared it with the Chinese and the rest of the Europeans and the Africans and everybody else is because they murdered them and stole it. And then they offered it to all of their former enemies. And you were the trinket and the trophy that they will all get to set their business on top of because your leaders told you to integrate. So the good things of the land aren't left to your children anymore. The businesses that were established all got taken down. You understand? They passed legislation. That's why the Bible says through policy, he causes craft to prosper in Daniel 8:25. He created laws and policies with the help of your Black leaders that told you to integrate and love and look at them as friend and look at them as brother, and we're all neighbor and we all bleed red and we're all the same. It seems good. That's why the Lord said, woe unto them that call good evil. Who determines what's good? Who determines what's evil? Who determines what's right? Who determines what's wrong? God determines. You understand? God has that say. God determines what's right and what's wrong. You understand? But we threw away what God said to follow Martin Luther King. You understand? Let's get some more. Right. And this is what the Lord was saying. Like, the Lord never wanted this. There's supposed to be a border and a boundary. Jeremiah 14:2 says, Judah mourneth. The real Jews are in a state of mourning, and the gates thereof language. Of course, this is probably a movie or something. This is an illustration. We were not supposed to be in this close proximity to each other. This sister is not supposed to be there facing this pack of hyenas that their people have destroyed our people. We were not, our children were supposed to be sitting here better off for the advancements and the designs and the developments that we would make for our future generations by being raised in this area here with our Black teachers learning Black morals, to be a Black community, to have Black families with Black sons and daughters with Black inventions, to go to Black schools, to work for Black businesses, or to get wealth from our oppressors and bring them back to our Black communities and families. We were never supposed to join our oppressors. That's why the Lord said, don't do this. Let's get some more. Like, it seems like this is responsible. Not all churches were a part of this. All churches wasn't down with this. All preachers weren't a part of this. But the sway that Christianity has over our people made this possible. And now that we've integrated those schools, that our families now begin to think like our oppressors. What happened to those families? With that Government Welfare Act, the father had to be chased out of the home. You couldn't keep that man in the home now. So now that you don't have that father's influence, it seems like the lie that our oppressors told, all you need is just money. You need the money, the school care, the welfare, the child care. In essence, America will be your husband. If you have trouble, you don't call for your husband anymore. You'll call for 911. You don't need that man. He doesn't have a job because systematically the businesses that he used to have, the Chinese now have it. The Koreans now have it. The Arabs have it. The East Indians, everyone that America went to war with, they set them up with businesses in the Black community. So now, all of you, and just to dispel that myth, Blacks and Hispanics were already together. Puerto Ricans were already with Black people. Dominicans, we were already together with Puerto Ricans. We were already together with Mexicans. We were already together with Native Americans. We were already together. After the Indian Removal Act that Andrew Johnson signed in the 1830s, many of the tribes went on the Trail of Tears. Everyone who was not born on a reservation going forward, you became a Negro by default, because the Bureau of Indian Affairs and the government registry would now determine who is a Indian or Native American and who is not. Everyone else was a Negro by default. You understand? Like, now they are determining who we are. We're getting our determination for who we are, how we'll live, where we'll live, our education, the thought processes and patterns that we are learning is not being taught what God is saying in the Bible, because we read out the Bible right now where God is saying, don't integrate, don't have interracial marriages, never join your oppressor. You shouldn't be in his government, his school, his military, his police force. You should be separate. God is saying that in the Bible, and the preachers had a vested interest in serving America and serving America's God, which is the money of our oppressor, and they were not interested in what was best for Black people. Martin Luther King was not the only one. Had the Christian preachers told the truth about what was in the Bible, Black people would have learned by now. The Bible says that these preachers strengthen the hands of evildoers so that a wicked man does not return from his wickedness. You understand? Let's get some more. That's in Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter, about verse 14. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Like, the Lord said, don't do this. So now that we integrated, what happened? What did your sons do without that father, without that direction? What happened to those communities that now mommy got the welfare, the government assistance? What did they do? What happened to those neighborhoods and communities? This is what your sons did. This is what your black and brown sons and daughters did. They became Latin kings. You understand? We were already stood together fighting against our oppressors, spiritually and physically. Though we are not advocating do any violence to our oppressors, neither do we advocate us doing violence to each other. But we don't advocate anyone being a victim. Like Martin Luther King taught our people to be victims, to suck it up and take it, and without the direction and that strength, that masculinity the Lord put to be in charge of our families, this is what our children went and did. We went and hit the streets, became Latin kings. This is what happened. This is what we did. Now that we've integrated, for those of you that don't know, red versus blue is a Roman concept. That's why the Democrats and Republicans, they got red states and blue states. Why are the states red and blue and not any other color? Because that is an ancient Roman custom. Red versus blue. That's how your black men in all your cities and your Hispanic brothers and sisters in all your cities, you became the ones that wear red versus the ones that wear blue. Just like Rome. Now that we've integrated, we started to think like our oppressor. You understand? We started to think like our oppressor. This is what your sons and daughters became. This is what we became. This is what happened to your Hispanic sons, following right behind the tribe of Judah, you understand, which is the tribe the Lord set up to be the head of the nation. This is what your Hispanic sons and daughters did. Now that we've integrated, this is what happened. This is what your young sons did. This is what happened. Now that that father has been removed from our society, from our neighborhoods, through his businesses being shut down with integration, and his woman no longer looking to him to provide leadership or anything else for the family, America's welfare government system has become your husband. This is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened right after that. Mass incarceration. This is what happened. This is what it led to. They weren't able to mass incarcerate you because that father was on the lookout. That father knew not to trust the oppressor. That father knew that the man was always looking to hurt his people. The father understood. And you called those brothers, you said, why are you so mad? Why is it about race? The prophets the Lord set up were there to teach our people so that this did not happen. And they knew that once you joined them, that they were able to do this hook, line, and sinker. And what came next? Integration. Now the strength and the protection of your communities is gone. What else did we take on after that? We took on crack, cocaine, and heroin. You understand? We stopped doing this. We stopped making new black universities, Coppin State, Norfolk State, you understand? We stopped making new ones, Acorn State. We stopped making new black universities. You understand? We stopped being, Virginia State, you understand? And Norfolk State. We stopped all of this blackity black stuff. Now it's time to get rid of those afros. Get rid of that afros. You see, the sisters love their hair. We had our braids, we had our hair. We were beautiful and proud with those afros, but now we integrated, and this is what happened. Now you got heads full of hair, video coming up. Now that standard of beauty, the Lord said, why trimmest thou thy ways to seek love? We got rid of those afros to seek love from our oppressors. Get in Hollywood, you get rich, you chop that nose up. Get rid of that thick black nose like Lil' Kim, like Kelly Rowland did. Get rid of that thick, wide nose and those lips, man. You got to look more like Marilyn Monroe now. This is what happened with integration. This is what happened. This went from this to this. All dressed nice and beautiful and modest. Now, you understand, you dress for OnlyFans. You dress like you're advertising yourselves like prostitutes from the 70s. This is how you dress. This is how sisters dress it now. Is every single last sister dressing like that? No, but sisters were not dressing like this. This was not appropriate. Mothers, aunts, fathers, daughters, no one would approve some sister dressing like this. You were a prostitute, you understand, carrying yourself, exposing yourself and your body and your behind. Now that's the norm because we learned to be like Marilyn Monroe, following our oppressors. You understand? We learn to stop all of this. We learn this. You learn to be heard. You understand? You learn to be heard. You understand? Now, here comes feminism. The women's rights movement, contrary to popular belief, was not so that you could get a better position in America. You are already the secretaries in America. You integrated to the destruction of your own Black businesses, and now you are by yourself, raising kids by yourself, getting sick and scared to death by yourself, in communities by yourself, with sons and daughters that doesn't know that race matters because the preacher is educating them lies about the Bible. So if they want strength and power and masculinity, they got to go and be a blood now. They got to go and be a Latin king now because they can't get it from you because daddy has been chased out of society for several decades. America put mommy in charge, you understand, with the feminism movement and the Women's Rights Act and then the Child Support Act. All of those Black families that disintegrated now that the businesses are gone. Did we have family problems and issues before? Yes. But we were not in domestic court and juvenile court and felony court and divorce court to the magnitude that we are now. Sex was always marriage amongst us. You had sex with a woman, that was your woman. You got her pregnant for sure. They had something called a shotgun wedding, where the father would hold a shotgun to you and force you to put paperwork on his daughter so that you did not just have sex with her and throw her away, which is the Sex in the City hedonism norm that we have now, just in time for the explosion of herpes and gonorrhea and syphilis and chlamydia and all the diseases now that we live our lives like our oppressor, and sex is not important. It's not permanent. It doesn't mean anything. You understand? Now that we have followed behind our oppressor's lifestyle, we are number one in all of the STDs that they are to get. Blacks and Hispanics, number one, number two, and then we followed behind them in their culture, and they had something that happened to them that was not happening to us until we joined to them. You know what that was? Crack. You understand? We're not going to go there. We're not at crack yet. Let's see. Let's get what it was. You know what that was? What did we have? You understand? This is what that got us. You marching, holding signs, black and white together. Remember, God said, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. This seems nice and wonderful. God said this is evil. You understand? A Christian preacher made you believe that this was good. God said it was an evil thing. That's what produced this. Now you on the street with your breasts out, your tail out, you're selling your tail on the internet, you're jumping in and out of cars, you're having sex for $40, get your damn light bill and your phone bill paid for trips out of state and out of town and new shoes and purses, all of your dignity. You understand? Not every last single brother and sister, but the dignity that you were known for, the respect that you were known for, the mothering abilities and wife abilities that you were known for. You were still known for dancing. You were still known for being beautiful. You were still known for your gorgeous skin. You were still known for your cooking and your rhythm and your brains and your beauty. You were known for all of those things. Our oppressor's woman tricked you. It was a CIA government plan to make sure that you were separated from your strength, your head, your protection, which was that black man. And now you belong to America. Now you're a part of America. You understand? The communities are all falling apart. And guess what we got else? We got this, their homosexual lifestyle. They've been pushing and pushing that homosexuality was a mental disorder. You understand? Back in the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, the 70s, this was a mental disorder. And you know what came with that? AIDS. You understand? HIV and AIDS. That's what happened. And once we started to take on their lifestyle of being a drug addict, you understand? We took on their lifestyle of homosexuality. It could not be possible without the Christian church, the home of the down low. For all your broke-back preachers and your Eddie Longs. Eddie Long just didn't come out the blue. The church was always filled with Eddie Long. And there was a man in every black and Hispanic house telling that woman, you're not going to take all of our money. and give it to some pimp preacher. You're not going to do it. Now that the feminism movement and the Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on your door and all the churches telling your woman, you can come and serve in the house of God. Well, what God said in the Bible is let the woman learn at home from her husband, that you're not supposed to be piling up in the churches single with your kids running amok everywhere. The Christian church partnered with America, the feminist movement, the government movement, to make sure that you were separate from the natural head that God put over you for your life, which was that black man, that father, that husband. Now you are on your own. You're taking smiling pictures and you don't like yourself. You're not liking your skin or your hair, your nose or your lips. There was an integral part about you is tied to the man of your species. The female lioness is intricately designed to be with the male lion. Like, you are not designed to be separate from the man of your race. America taught you that. And the Christian preachers strengthened the hands of the evil that America was doing. Woman, thou art loose. Told you didn't need a man, right along with the Welfare Act, the Government Act, and then AIDS come. Now we got welfare, the Government Act, your sons and daughters is in the street shooting, killing each other. Now here comes crack cocaine. Here comes heroin to add some more gasoline to the fire. No father, no jobs, frustration, police brutality. You frustrated, your businesses, now you being integrated and you're taught to think like our oppressor. You being told by the well-off amongst your people, everything gonna be all right. Everything gonna be all right. Keep hope alive. And as you're doing that, now you don't have jobs. Now you don't have that father to keep in line. Your kids is out having sex with each other, making babies. And now the communities and the families is destroyed. Mommy is in charge of the family now, and she can't control her sons or her daughters or herself or her emotions or the community or the family. That father can get those boys off of those steps. Everybody's standing in the hallway because there aren't fathers in those houses to teach those sons, you better not be in somebody's goddamn hallway like you have no home training. You better not be all up and down the street showing your behind, girl. You better cover them breasts and that tail up. Those fathers are gone. You chase them out of the black home with your integration. You understand? This is these signs. Nobody thought what was going to happen to him now that there was no father ruling his house. What happened to that young brother? He didn't want to. He wanted to do what was right, but the gang swallowed up the community because it was nothing to do with that anger and frustration that Martin Luther King told you to just suck up getting your jaw broke by the police. Just suck up not having a job, that your mom is now on drugs. Just suck it up. Just hope for the best. Keep hope alive. It's your fault because you're poor. It's your fault because you don't go to school. Well, we had schools and then we integrated those schools, and now your black kids don't even go to them damn schools. You don't learn anything in them schools. Nothing being taught in them schools. You're not being taught about being black. You're not being taught about your history. You're being taught to be a Democrat, a Republican. You're being taught to be a dark-skinned white man. That's what American is. You call your other Hispanic brothers legal and illegal as if you're not the same race of people. That is what integration taught our people. Taught you to get rid of those afros, those braids, those curls, talk through your nose, bleach your skin, chop your nose up, move out the community once you get some wealth, rob, steal, kill, whatever you can to get ahead, hold your way to the top. You understand? Do something strange for a piece of change, sell your tail. Our entire community went to absolute degeneration while our oppressors got rich and our families and communities fell apart. This is what Martin Luther King did. This is what integration did. It wasn't just Martin Luther King. We could have stopped following Martin Luther King, but our oppressors and the government pushes that he is a hero. And now we got Planned Parenthood. Just like in the previous videos. You don't want these babies. Nobody got time to deal with these babies. I got my own life. All of that responsibility that we had before, all that's gone now. All that's gone. Neighborhood, you got to get your own. I got to get my own. Every man for himself. No more neighborhood, just the hood. You understand? We destroyed ourselves. That's why the Lord said, never join another people. You understand? Jeremiah 2:11 says, have a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods. You understand? But my people have changed their glory. That afro on your head, that glory, those curls, that hair, that is the hair that God has sitting in heaven. That's the hair Jesus Christ has sitting on the right hand of the Father in heaven. We exchanged the glory of us and being with a black man and black woman, Hispanic and Native, understand, together with our beautiful families, making our beautiful babies and children. We forfeited all of that for integration. And then we got the HIV and AIDS that came with their homosexual movement that we took now that we think like our oppressors. And the gangster lifestyle now that we think like our oppressors. You understand, having sex, throwing brothers and sisters away, your Sex in the City, Playboy, Spice TV lifestyle. Now that we've integrated with our oppressors, now you're whoring yourselves out. Your daughters on the street dressing like prostitutes in the 50s and 40s and 60s that we would have never allowed in our communities before. Kids by everybody, abortions, all kind of diseases. Everything went to hell now that we've integrated. Thank Martin Luther King. You understand? And the Lord said, and when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson and deckest thou and thee with ornaments of gold. You put on your gold, your beautiful jewelry, you stand for America. Though thou rentest thy face with painting, you paint your face up like Serena Williams, like Michael Jackson. You get rid of all the blackness about you. You stop talking about black issues. I'm not black, I'm OJ. You understand? I'm not just a, I'm not just a Negro. That's what Sidney Poitier say. You keep asking me about the Negro this. I'm more than just a Negro. Don't ask me about Negro things. That's why when you ask, you understand, what's the young brother that wear the damn dresses? I forget his name. Young Thug. When you ask Young Thugs at the BET Award show, what do you think about Black Lives Matter and the state of this, this, and this? He gonna say, you gotta leave that for Al Sharpton and stuff. We getting money, we running through holes, we getting high, we having money, being fly. You gotta go talk to Al Sharpton about that. Your whole people is completely fractured because you done sent us off to go and be Americans, which the Lord never wanted. And it says, in vain, thou shalt make thyself fair. You shave your head, you cut off your beard, you get rid of your talk, your nose, you talk through your nose, you use your business voice, you abandon your community. The Lord said, in vain, you'll make yourself beautiful. Thy lovers will despise thee, and they will seek thy life. The same people, they're going to despise you and seek your life now. Ex-Bill Cosby, he want to buy NBC. Apparently, he raped 1,000 women since the 50s. But now that he wants to buy NBC, he got 50, 60 rape charges. Everybody that ever knew him say he raped them now after 1,000 years. Which we don't advocate rape and we don't make excuses for child molesters or sexual deviants. Same thing happened to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson owned Sony Records or whatever percentage he owned. Then he got a bunch of charges. They already knew and had all this information and things about him, but now they seek your life, just like O.J. Simpson. Now they seeking you. You thought that you make yourself beautiful and presentable so that it's not about race. It ain't about black and white. We all the same. We all bleed red. That's what you thought. But the Lord said, woe to them that call good things good, evil things good, and good things evil. That's what the Lord was saying. This should have never happened. The Lord has been against it. And this is the results in depth of what happened to our people. Stay tuned. Like, share, thumb up, subscribe. You like this video, hit a like up. Hit the thumbs up, leave a comment on this video. You watching these videos, go to our YouTube page, leave a comment. Stay tuned for another episode of The Bible is Black. This has been Integration. Bible is Black. Shalom.
Let nobody tell you cry. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you are a black man like me. And it works out.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, sold packs, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, boy, this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good wreck. Some Sometimes a follower is a soldier trying to find a good ship. Plus when you in hell, how do you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain, something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord?